In part 1, we talked about how delicate a sale can be. Sometimes it seems like anything could destroy it. And indeed, in the wrong place or at the wrong time, that's undoubtedly true. Part 1 mentioned 3 guaranteed ways to lose a sale that you thought you had in the bag. Bringing up the past. Easily the fastest possible method for losing a sale is remind the prospect of a negative experience in his past. Saying something that triggers negative emotions is a killer because the prospect is going to get his revenge, after all, on you. Here's what it won't do. Another excellent way to get terrible results. Here, instead of discussing the benefits of a product, the salesperson goes on and on about what it won't do. This happens because many salespeople only know a few positive things and they want to bring you around to what they know. They lack preparation and training. They have a sales comfort zone and they're sure as hell going to stay there. Lack of fluency. The third guaranteed method of losing a sale is to not be fluent with your product or company. Proposal writing and selling generally requires fluency. Writing a persuasive proposal is the art and science of getting the prospect to think the way you want them to think, to feel how you want them to feel, and to take action by buying your product. Here in part 2, let's look at 3 more surefire ways to lose a sale and how to avoid that disaster. Cause 4 pounds. Not ready for anything. In baseball, the batter stands at the box, facing the pitcher, ready for whatever type of pitch he throws. Sales are much the same way. Whatever the prospect throws at you, you have to be ready to knock it out of the park. Yet in-person sales are constantly lost because the sales rep doesn't have samples ready to show without delay. It's strange sometimes how little things will influence major decisions. Legal clients are often required to participate in what's called a beauty contest. That's where they go and present a company, who then decides whether to make that law firm a provider or not. In other words, a sales presentation. A lot on the line for everyone. And yet I frequently hear how if the lawyers have to start up their computer at the beginning of the presentation, the client will turn against them. It's almost not recoverable. Even though the client is deciding, for example, who will represent them in court on millions of dollars of litigation for the next 3 years. If you make the client wait for 3 minutes at the beginning of your presentation while you load PowerPoint, you are virtually guaranteed to lose. But is this as strange as it seems? If a lawyer isn't prepared enough to have the computer and presentation ready to go, will they have your litigation ready to go? Will they return your calls promptly? Will they think to proactively keep you informed about developments? If the presentation didn't go smoothly, will anything with you go smoothly? Maybe these are just rationalizations, but they're the kind of rationalizations you don't want your prospect to think. Above all, prospective clients are looking for reasons to reject you, not hire you. There are plenty of amazing lawyers out there. They need to weed through them, not give everyone the benefit of the doubt. The same principle applies to every type of selling. Don't make the prospect wait. If you were walking through the grocery store and a salesperson at a booth wanted to give you a sample or show you some knives, would you wait while they grilled up new samples or unboxed and unwrapped the knives? Nope. Even though it's only a few minutes, you'll tell them you'll come back and then forget. That's reality. And that means no sale. Products, presentations and goods ready to go, and you'll give them a chance to sell themselves with you there to help. Cause 5 pounds. Outside interruptions. Most salespeople would love to have a crowd of people pushing and shoving to buy their products. But is it good to have a crowd of people that you are trying to persuade? One of the most difficult things you can do is to try to sell to 2 or 3 people at the same time. Indeed, this is one of the very reasons why companies require you to present to a group of decision makers. They know that multiple questions from multiple people throws all but the best salespeople off their game. That way, the thinking goes, they can break through the sales part of it and get right to the heart of the matter. You try the same objection killers as you used before, but he waves them off. They've lost their impact. the forest of reasons for why he needs your product, which you so carefully built up, has been completely demolished. Why? Because the interruption created a mental break in time. There was before the interruption and after the interruption, and the brain treats after the interruption as an entirely new event, and your arguments are now old news to him. They're no longer effective. Instead, they've been shunted to. What else is going on? Well, your brain sees this as two distinct events. What was the first thing that happened in the post-interruption event? He was being asked to spend money. To avoid this, try your hardest to find out the time when the prospect and your sale are least likely to be bothered. A word to the secretary helps, explaining the benefits of your product beforehand so he wants to be left alone to consider your proposition helps. But do whatever you need to do to have the time you need to fully complete the sale. Bonus tip. What if the prospect is interrupted anyway? If this happens, realize that this is a whole new sale. Slide the order form away from him and review with him the 2 or 3 biggest benefits that he'll get from your product. Then slide the order form back. Also, whenever possible, neutralize sources of interruption early. With kids or spouses, immediately ask if the prospect would like you to come back later. He'll almost always say no, and then tell them to give him a few minutes to talk with you. Cause £6. Internal interruptions. It is a matter of some debate whether a sale truly has a decisive or psychological moment at which you must close the sale or lose it forever. In my experience, the answer is no. If your proposal or sales presentation follows the correct structure, then the persuasiveness of your message is much firmer. Nonetheless, there is no doubt that there are moments when closing a sale is easier than other times. You do not want to miss these moments, because your proposition may be strong enough to win during one of these moments, but not strong enough to win otherwise. This means that you must avoid interruptions within the sale itself. This includes not having a pen ready, forgetting your order form, needing to put a new roll of receipt paper in the cash register, having to go into the back to see if you have another size in stock. Little things like this may cause you to miss the best moments. This is especially the case in the final few minutes of a sale. You have helped the prospect avoid objections and problems on his way to the top of the mountain. But this is the moment where a false step or a sudden gust of wind can cause him to fall the farthest. Bonus tip. How do I avoid this? Preparation. A salesperson has a tough job. Not only do you have to sell the prospect on your product, but you also need to think about the future state of things and prepare for them. That means having answers to objections and evidence to back up your claims. But it also means everything along the way goes smoothly. No interruptions, no running back to the office to grab the contract you forgot, no asking the prospect if he has a pen. Just smooth sailing.